A girl was watching the news when she noticed something eerie. She had a sinking suspicion that her father might be a deranged serial killer because the necklace worn by the victim reported on the news was identical to the one her father had given her. The girl rushed to the TV for a closer look, and sure enough, there was no difference between her necklace and the victim's. A chilling thought crept into her mind. Had her father murdered the victim and then gifted the necklace to her? She hurried to her computer to investigate further, but what she found left her stunned. The dozen or so victim photos on the web all bore an uncanny resemblance to her late mother. The girl's mind reeled with questions. Could this all be a mere coincidence? She recalled her father's recent pattern of leaving early and coming home late. Determined to uncover the truth, she decided to act while her father was still out. Sneaking into her father's room, she rummaged through his drawers and discovered a large stash of sedatives. As she kept searching, she came across a photo album. Flipping it open, she found it filled with detailed crime plotting techniques. The girl was utterly shocked by what she saw. Just then, she heard her father's car pulling into the driveway. She quickly returned the album to its place, grabbed a bottle of sedatives to hide in her pocket, and slipped out of the room. But as she returned to her own room, she realized she'd made a grave mistake. The victim's image was still displayed on the living room TV. She raced downstairs and managed to switch off the TV just a second before her father walked in. Feigning composure, she engaged in casual conversation with him. That's when she noticed he was still wearing leather gloves. Trying to sound curious, she asked about them, but he fumbled for an excuse, claiming it was due to the cold weather. The flimsy explanation left her with little room to probe further. The two then settled in the living room to watch TV, but the girl was completely distracted. Lost in thought, she accidentally dropped her ice cream on the floor. As she cleaned up the mess, she cut her hand. Her father tenderly bandaged her wound. Looking at the man she had known all her life, the girl's resolve began to waver. Perhaps she was just reading too much into everything? Deep into the night, the girl tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Suddenly, she heard a noise outside her door. It was her father lowering the attic ladder. But what business did he have in the attic at this ungodly hour? It all seemed incredibly suspicious. The next day, the girl decided to test the waters. She brought out the necklace, pointing out visible signs of wear and tear, and asked if she could get a replacement. But her father refused, claiming it was the last piece in stock. As soon as he left for work like usual, the girl finally had a chance to investigate the attic. But the moment she climbed up, she was dumbfounded. The place was a mess, littered with piles of old junk. As she was looking around, the floorboards suddenly gave way beneath her, sending her crashing into the room below. Luckily, the damaged ceiling was right above her own room, so her father wouldn't discover it right away. Amidst the debris, she spotted a box. Opening it, she found it filled with women's jewelry she had never seen before. Could these be the belongings of the victims from the news? Even more unsettling was the sight of dried blood on one of the rings. The girl was horrified. Was her father really the culprit? That evening, the girl laid out all the jewelry on the table, ready to confront her father. The moment he saw them, his face turned ashen. When the girl demanded to know where the jewelry came from, he claimed they were her mother's old belongings. But his explanation sounded flimsy at best. The girl held up the blood-stained ring and pressed him about the red smear. He mumbled something about it being paint. Faced with her father's evasive responses, the girl brought out the necklace he had given her and the news photos, demanding to know if he had hurt anyone. Bombarded with questions, her father finally lost his patience. He lashed out, accusing her of being on the path to insanity, just like her mother. His words hit the girl like a ton of bricks. Was her mother's death also connected to her father? Overwhelmed with dread, she spun around and bolted for the door, with her father in hot pursuit behind her.